I forgot. You're broken. I don't want to play with you anymore.
As humans, there's a pretty damn good argument to be made that time is our most valuable resource. So naturally, the question always is, what do you spend your time on? Because obviously, once you spend it, you can never get it back, which leads to a lot of things being valued as better uses of your time than others. And, you know, for a certain YouTuber, I think in hindsight, making videos calling me homeless was probably a worse use of your time than, I don't know, learning how to fill out a fucking Form 1040? Might have saved you $2 million worth of bond money, dumbass. WhistlinDiesel, more like, wow, I like not paying my taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got to be honest, I did not expect to be back this quickly, but I guess I should have known better. If a week ago you told me that WhistlinDiesel was going to get arrested and you wanted me to give a guess as to why, I probably would have gone down the route of him like trying to run for local government in Dubai and just not taking no for an answer. But I think what we're dealing with today is objectively funnier. That's right, boys and girls, Mr. If you don't own a Ferrari, you're poor and you just don't work hard enough, has been arrested by the Williamson County Sheriff's Office on charges of tax evasion. Now, obviously, there's not like a ton of information available about this right now because it just happened, but after all the shit that this guy has said and done throughout this year, it would be a personal crime to myself to not talk about this. Now, I learned about this yesterday after somebody DM'd me a post from the YouTube drama subreddit, and then like an hour or two after I saw that, obviously, WhistlinDiesel was posting about it on his Instagram. And I'm gonna be honest, the optics, at least to me, aren't looking great. Now look, don't get me wrong, that's not me saying that like I think that it looks like he did this. I'm just saying the way that he's handling this is, well, it's very WhistlinDiesel-esque. He posted a slideshow of all the pictures of him getting arrested and like the cops coming onto his property, his mugshot, his charges, all that stuff. And the Instagram audio that he chose for that post is Jordan Belfort's monologue from The Wolf of Wall Street, which is, you know, probably not the best look when you've just been arrested for tax evasion. Like, he captioned the post, "One so big they thought I was cheating," and it's like, that might very well be the case with you, Cody, but you know that Jordan Belfort like was cheating, right? He had to pay like $110 million in restitution. Like, he definitely was doing the shit he was accused of, so kind of a weird person to incorporate with all this, but we can move on. Now, like I said, there's not a whole lot that's public about this right now. The department hasn't given any sort of statement. Cody hasn't really said anything more than what he included in this post, but I still do think that there are a few things here to talk about. One of them being that after going through the comments on Cody's post, it appears that a lot of people don't know what tax evasion is. Just so we're all on the same page here, tax evasion is not just like not paying your taxes. People do that all the time. Not paying your taxes on time, or just like not at all, is America's pastime. Tax evasion is a little different. Like, tax evasion is not whoopsies, I messed up a form, or oh no, I forgot to report some income last year. Tax evasion is hiding your money in a very purposeful way so the government doesn't find it. Like fabricating your financial records, keeping two different books, offshore shell companies. That's the kind of shit that is considered tax evasion. It's not just like forgetting to pay your taxes on time one year. And I think most people know that, but clearly, if you read the comments on Cody's post, not everybody does. Now, another thing I found pretty interesting about all this was Cody's bond amount. Motherfucker's bond was set at $2 million, which is kind of crazy, really. Like, murder suspects often don't even get bond that high, so for him to get a $2 million bond, that tells me one thing and one thing only. It seems like they think this guy is gonna leave the country, and I guess that kind of makes sense with how much he's been going to Dubai recently. And you could make an argument that the guy has sort of made a habit of flaunting his wealth, so I guess that's sort of just how the cookie crumbles, but still, holy shit, a $2 million bond is insane. Cody's obviously very well off, but I don't think he's to the point where 2 million buckarooskies is a throwaway amount of money, so that must have hurt like a motherfucker. And I think that's another common misconception. I saw this a lot in the comments section of his post as well. A lot of people seem to think you only pay 10% of your bond no matter what, and that's not how that works. You only pay 10% of your bond if you're using a bondsman. You give them 10%, they post your bond for you, and they keep that 10% as their fee. If you're paying it yourself, you gotta pay the full amount, and like you'll get it back if you follow the rules, but still, $2 million out of pocket can not feel good. But I'm pretty interested to see how this all plays out because really, I don't think I'd be surprised at like any outcome. I know we all like to dunk on Mr. Whistlin on this channel, but truthfully, I do think that of all people, he makes more sense than most to be falsely arrested for tax evasion. He's one of probably like, I don't know, 7 people on planet Earth who could justifiably write off the purchase of a Ferrari or like a tank as a business expense. So it really wouldn't surprise me if it came out that it just looked bad on paper, but it was all legit. You know, I've got to imagine that his business's tax returns do look a little bit fucky, you know, just given what he does for a living. And Uncle Sam is always going to get his cut, so it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if it just looked bad enough that they were like, you know what, we're just going to arrest this guy, ask questions later. Wouldn't be the first time, but also it wouldn't be the first time that a YouTuber ran into issues when it came to taxes. If you didn't know, all the money that YouTube pays you is untaxed, and if you're making millions of dollars from YouTube, well then that is millions of dollars that the federal government is going to be expecting from you, and you know, some people don't really like to do that. I don't think anybody likes to do that. Taxes fucking suck, but I feel like it's a lot easier when you just like don't really have a choice. You know, when it's just taken out of your check every week and you can't go to your employer and be like, hey, can I just like have that back? It's a lot easier to pay your taxes, I feel like, than when Google is direct depositing 6 figures into your bank account every month and you don't have to pay anything immediately and you can spend it on fun, shiny things. So again, not implying that anybody did anything, but it would make sense for a person who is making millions of dollars on YouTube to want to try and figure out some ways to keep more of those millions to themselves. I will say that Cody's behavior surrounding all of this has me thinking that he's either one, just confident in the fact that he's done nothing wrong, or he's just being kind of stupid and is going to end up making himself look like kind of an ass like he's sort of been doing all year. Like I said, immediately associating yourself with one of, if not just like the most famous case of white-collar crime the second you're arrested for tax evasion is a strange decision. It's not exactly what I would call a good look. I assume he's probably just trying to lean into the whole like, I'm so big, people want to see me fall, I'm so rich, I don't give a shit kind of thing, but it'd be like being arrested for murder and then having like a fucking picture of OJ in your Instagram slideshow. And even then, like at least OJ wasn't found guilty. Jordan Belfort absolutely was. So it's just kind of like a weird choice. Also, he's been liking certain comments that, again, it's just like not really what you do when you have a federal tax evasion case being thrown at you. Like he liked an Instagram comment saying blame the accountant, and like an accountant's not gonna do tax evasion for you without asking, you know? So it's just kind of like, I feel like Cody's ego is gonna get in his way here. I mean, the dude's been posting pictures of himself getting arrested to his Instagram story to little baby songs, and like while nothing he's doing is illegal, and like it's nothing that the courts are really gonna be able to use against him, but it's just like, come on dude, you're a grown man, like getting arrested is not cool. And it's becoming increasingly more and more clear that you think being arrested for tax evasion makes you look really cool, which, you know, I think just really kind of goes back to what we've been talking about with this guy for the last few months, how everything in this guy's life is sort of dictated by status and money. I mean, obviously the guy who thinks that nothing is more important than the almighty dollar is gonna think he looks really cool when he's being arrested by the government, because according to him, he's just making so much money they thought he had to be doing something illegal. Which, I mean, really isn't even a flex if you think about it for more than a minute. There are millions of people making more money than WhistlinDiesel who are never investigated because there's never a need to. Like the government thinking you have more money than you should to the point where they feel the need to investigate and arrest you is not really that good of a look, I don't think. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like the way that Cody's looking at this is very surface level. I don't think it's the flex he thinks it is. Anyways, if this is all what Cody is saying it to be, I hope it all gets cleared up for him as soon as it possibly can be. Obviously, my opinion of the guy is not the best in the world, but that doesn't mean I want to see him locked up for something he didn't do. To be honest, I personally don't even think you should be locked up for tax evasion if you did do it. I guess that's my hot take of the day. The government wastes half the money they take from us, and they mismanage the other half so poorly that if a person treated money that they owed the government like the government treats the money they take, they'd probably be arrested for tax evasion. So, yeah, I don't really fuck with taxes all that much. At least not what America's government spends our tax money on. Do yourself a favor, or maybe maybe don't actually. Maybe being blissfully ignorant's better in this situation, but read some government contracts. You know, go look at what the government's actually spending your money on. It's not gonna make you happy. Well, guys, what are your thoughts? Like I said, there's not a whole lot of information to go off of here. So really, like, it's not worth speculating. Everybody's just guessing and picking sides. Like I said, I don't want this to be true. I don't want Cody to go to jail. Hopefully this is all just one big misunderstanding. Cody seems to say that's the case, so you know what? I'm hoping he's right. I would say that, like, maybe a big event like this could be a wake-up call for him, and not even like implying that he's done anything wrong. It's just more so like having the cops pull up at your house and arrest you is definitely something that's gonna make you think, at least for most, I would say. I guess based off of his immediate behavior on Instagram, that didn't happen to Cody. Can't say I'm really surprised. See ya.